in the city during the week, and Wolsey took us back to the social club where we had a team meeting, and he'd obviously picked the team and all the rotations as such, and it just seemed a really good fit, considering in '86 they sort of belted us, and we'd probably given away a few little bits and pieces prior to the grand final week, and this year he was really prepared for them. And the reason why we really got him stuck with 5 in the middle at the start of the game was really because of his positioning of our players and sort of knowing what the Hawks would do. So, in a sense, yeah, to come out with a fire in the belly wouldn't have been hard because we're pretty much humiliated the year before, and I don't think Wolsey missed us in the team meeting late after '86 to tell us how we thought we went, and particularly myself. So, yeah, I was pretty glad to get out there and have a go.
That was great, well, you certainly did. Mark, Stephen, of course, had kicked a goal after the siren over North Melbourne. It was a hot day. You'd had the extra sort of bit of rest. Was that an advantage going into this match?
I think it had to be. When we spent after that game, we went and watched that. We went and saw that game. Sorry, without the game. Then we had I think we had a bit of a weekend up in Burnham Beaches. I think we went up there for a
nice place.
It was a lovely place for holiday, wasn't it? We sat back and we went through the gardens, it was beautiful up there, through the forest. I think Tommy Alvin had a bit of an orgasm going through it. He was in the trees and bushes.
That's inappropriate, Dad.
He was having his time of his life going through there. But we were bonded that year. I mean, I've said quite often when people have said to me, you know, what was Robert Wall's influence in that year? And I don't think we needed a coach. I mean, we had a couple of upsets, we had a couple of tragedies, some not tragedies, but we had Peter Motley who went down in the car accident. We also had Desi English who went down. And I reckon grand final day, when we got out there, and I still remember, I mean, the week leading up to grand final day, I mean, we had this idiot next to us here. I mean, our training used to start at about 5 o'clock, 4:45. I mean, Wayne Johnson on the Thursday before the game was there at 2:30. He was stripped, he was massaged. As blokes were walking into the room, he was thumping him in the shoulder like this and just making sure the blokes were switched on and knew, sorry, Craig, and knew that it was going to be a grand final. I mean, even after the meeting on Thursday night, I mean, I still remember a bloke had been there a couple of times before, a bloke called Kenny Hunter. I mean, he had his medals there. He spoke about the passion, about what it was like to win a premiership. I just wish, you know, a few of these blokes that are playing here this afternoon could witness a Wayne Johnson walking through the room and eyeballing him, making sure he knew what was required. And someone like Kenny Hunter talking about the passion of playing, you know, in the previous premiership, what it meant to him, you know, firstly to wear the jumper, but also to have like a medal around your neck after the game. It's something special.
So I think I was eyeballing Nails for, because earlier in the year he kicked me in the hand, I had 14 stitches down the middle of my hand. Still haven't forgiven him. It took me months to get over it, so almost cost me the best and fairest sticks maybe by a couple of votes. So, haven't forgotten Nails, believe me.
Don't get mad, get even by the sound of it, mate. You had a big clean-up on Dipper, one of the toughest blokes in footy. Not a conscious decision to make it, you know, it was just two tough blokes coming together.
The conscious decision was pre-match. I was sick of him coming off the line and cleaning up our midfielders, so what I promised Wolsey prior to the game was when they bounced the ball, I'd head straight out to his wing and try and clean him up. Then, unfortunately, we caught him with 5 in the middle, so I had to kick the bloody ball. The only time in the history of football, you're the only bloke to start a grand final by kicking a ball, so I did it the second bounce and missed. And he actually got a free kick, and then I think they kicked us, Swabby kicked the point, thank God, it would have been almost a goal, and Peter Dean kicked out. It was an ordinary kick and went straight to Dipper. And I could sort of see from the long range, and I thought I'd make a good tackle on him, but his evasive skills were that good I couldn't quite get him with a tackle, so there was no doubt that he was going to cop an elbow. And when he went down, I really didn't feel very sorry at all, because I got the prick. He got Kenny Hunter, he got plenty of others over the years, and I stood over him on Muhammad Ali, he said, "Get up, you weak prick." And then to top it off, Ian Robinson, the umpire, was doing his 4th grand final. You have to really never bounce the ball before in a grand final. He never had the opportunity to put the ball in there and go, "I'm going to bounce it." So I stole that off him at the start of the game to start with a kick, but there's no chance he wasn't going to report me. So I got reported for the Dipper. Obviously I got 2 weeks, but I really liked, to be honest. And then we ventured over to London, and the AFL allowed me to play. So I get home, I break another rule, or break another record. I'm the only player to ever be reported suspended, and then get reported suspended without serving any suspension over in London. So after Naley kicked me in the hand during the year, I missed 4 weeks before the start of the year from an overseas game. What a great start to the '88 season.
Were you aware, Mark, if I can ask you, some of the individual performances that your blokes were doing? Like we hear often of what David Rees-Jones did on Dermot Brereton. I I think Stick's got a little bit of a tallying up for Chris Langford, managed to kick a couple of goals. Are you still sort of cognizant of the individual efforts that were going on around what you were doing on the field?
Well, you just think of the players back then. I mean, blokes that I pulled a jumper on with. I mean, you talk of Johnson's stuff, and you talk of Kernahan, Bradley's, and I mean, I think Paul Meldrum that year. I think you were leading the Brownlow by, I reckon it was about 10 votes after about half a dozen games. I mean, had a sensational start of the year. But I mean, you look at Tommy Alvin, and he had the best. I mean, the girls that were there. I mean, you saw Tommy Alvin back in 1987 come out of the showers. It was just like it was for a long year. You just sit back there and go, God, that's not human. It's not. It's just a machine. But the blokes that I played with back in those, there's going to be people that said there. But the blokes I played alongside of back then, I mean, I played with some out-and-out champions. I mean, the start of Stephen Silvani's career. I mean, I played alongside of him. But you just, I mean, I was very lucky to play in the 87 grand final. I mean, I came across from Adelaide in 87, it was my first year there. I mean, Bradley and Kernahan and also Motley, I mean, they got all the money the year before I got here. I mean, I still remember these blokes driving around in was it 300 ZXs, and I think there was a Holden SS. I mean, I had a friggin' Chrysler Sigma. It took me 2 days to come pre-season training. It took 2 days to get here.
That was our sign.
And these blokes are driving, I mean, they stayed at the Hyatt. Remember the Hyatt first opened in about 86? Of course we did. There was Stephen DeRuy that came that year, Richard Dennis, another bloke with a big nose. We talk about big noses. And we certainly stayed at the bloody Holiday Inn across the road. But it was, I mean, as I said, you know, all serious, I mean, these blokes here, I mean, to play alongside them, I mean, they're just fantastic. I mean, my bread and butter was sharking with blokes like John Dorotich and Stephen Kernahan, but I mean, Kernas is just, he never missed a mark. When the ball had hit the ground, he was bloody useless. He was hopeless. He couldn't not touch the ball on the ground, but he didn't miss too many marks. But, you know, I said I was lucky, you know, to play along some of the champions of this club.
Well, the team of champions of the champion club, Phyllis, great to just catch up, reminisce. We've allowed a little extra on the grog bill for this afternoon. Keeping an eye on table 25, I can tell you, just have a look at that little lot over there. Look at Carlton and the United Brewers going for the next 25 years. Apparently 2 of the teams still haven't got home for the celebrations, and some of them still can't forget Stephen Kernahan's magnificent singing of Stand By Your Man at the end of the day. But that is coming out on CD. There'll be copies available at the door at lunchtime. So anyway, Mark, great to catch up, mate. Congratulations again.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.